Debuting in 1999, GalaxyQuest broke the mold of sci-fi comedies with its offbeat humor, star-studded cast, and playful nods to Star Trek fandom. Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman became unlikely comedic heroes, turning this quirky film into an enduring fan favorite. But how much do you really know about it? From near-miss casting choices to behind-the-scenes mishaps and clever insider jokes, here are 15 things you didn't know about Galaxy Quest. 1. Never Surrender. The dedicated documentary. What many fans may not realize is that Galaxy Quest has inspired its very own behind-the-scenes celebration in the form of Never Surrender, a Galaxy Quest documentary released in 2019. Far more than just a series of talking head interviews, this feature-length account dives deep into the collaborative spirit that fueled every scene of the film. Producers, directors, actors, and even ardent superfans share stories that spotlight the movie's lasting legacy. You'll hear humorous confessions of on-set mishaps, like awkward prop malfunctions and hilarious improvisations that went on to define key character moments. There's also a sincere acknowledgement of the audience's role in turning a modestly marketed release into a global phenomenon. By watching these candid discussions, you get a sense of how Galaxy Quest transcended its original label as a mere parody and evolved into an endearing piece of pop culture history. Each person interviewed reveals something fresh: how jokes were polished, how certain character arcs were salvaged from the cutting room floor, and how the cast's chemistry was almost too good to be true. It's a love letter to everyone who has ever found solace, humor, or inspiration in the comedic cosmos of Commander Taggart's crew. Above all, Never Surrender underscores the powerful bond between those who create a film and those who wholeheartedly embrace it, making it a must-watch for anyone still chanting, "Never give up, never surrender." 2. An alien landscape in Goblin Valley, Utah. While Galaxy Quest is brimming with outrageous alien designs and sci-fi spectacle, it's easy to forget that one of its most otherworldly backdrops was actually crafted by Mother Nature herself. For the film's remote planet scenes, the production team traveled to Goblin Valley State Park in Utah, a place known for its bizarre, mushroom-shaped rock formations that eerily resemble alien statues. The decision to use a real-life location instead of relying solely on green screen gave the movie an earthy grit and timeless sense of realism. Goblin Valley's wind-sculpted goblins became the perfect stand-in for an alien planet, lending a convincing sense of depth whenever the camera panned across the dusty horizon. Beyond aesthetics, filming in this location presented challenges for the cast and crew, from contending with the scorching daytime heat to ensuring that valuable filming equipment didn't get coated in red dust. Yet the result was a landscape so visually striking that even casual viewers might second-guess if these scenes were shot on Earth. In interviews, Tim Allen jokingly recalled how the rugged terrain made him feel like he was actually on a starship mission, lost in uncharted territory. The rest of the actors echoed similar sentiments, praising the immersive impact of performing among naturally sculpted pillars and arches. This attention to real-world ambiance became a subtle yet vital piece of Galaxy Quest's charm, reinforcing the film's playful mix of authentic adventure and lighthearted camp. 3. Sigourney Weaver's dazzling transformation. Sigourney Weaver, already legendary for her fearless portrayal of Ellen Ripley in the Alien saga, took a delightfully unexpected detour in Galaxy Quest. Instead of battling acid-spewing creatures in a gritty, claustrophobic spaceship, she embraced the spotlight as Gwen DeMarco, a slightly vain, ever-glamorous TV star known for her revealing costumes and comedic one-liners. What truly made audiences do a double-take was her shockingly blonde hair, a far cry from her usual tough, no-nonsense on-screen persona. This wig and wardrobe were carefully chosen to magnify Gwen's light-hearted vanity, presenting a character who thrived on being recognized for her looks. Behind the scenes, Weaver saw this as an opportunity to poke fun at the very stereotypes she had spent years defying. In interviews, she joked about how liberating it was to embody someone whose biggest worry was whether the camera was capturing her best angle, a comedic contrast to the ferocious xenomorph-slaying warrior she'd portrayed in earlier roles. The hair and outfit weren't just for laughs, though. They subtly underscored the movie's theme of typecasting and how actors can become trapped by iconic roles. Gwen's flamboyant style clashed with her hidden desire to be taken seriously, creating unexpected depth. Viewers of all ages found humor in watching such a strong actress wholeheartedly embrace a playful, self-referential performance. Gwen DeMarco's bombshell confidence served as the perfect comedic foil to the movie's otherwise quirky, high-stakes narrative, and reminded fans that Weaver's range is as vast as the galaxies she explores on screen. 4. The carefully crafted Thermian language. One of the most delightfully oddball elements of GalaxyQuest is the squeaky, wobbly language used by the Thermians. Those adorably naive aliens who believe every frame of the GalaxyQuest TV show is a historical record. On screen, their chatter sounds like a cross between a stressed-out dolphin and a malfunctioning radio, yet each shrill note was carefully considered to preserve continuity and make the Thermians feel unified. The directors encouraged actors like Enrico Colantoni, Missy Pyle, Patrick Breen, and Rainn Wilson to build a basic vocal blueprint they could all follow. They experimented with pitch and pace until they hit upon a bizarre, repetitive sequence of chirps and trills that seemed both comedic and strangely innocent. What makes this fascinating is that most of their dialogue was partially improvised, so the cast had to collaborate constantly to maintain the illusion of a single alien dialect. There's a method behind the madness, too. By crafting a consistent pattern for the Thermian speech, the film avoided turning their lines into random nonsense that would jar the audience. Instead, each alien utterance, however outlandish, feels part of a living, breathing culture. In multiple interviews, the actors recalled struggling to keep straight faces whenever they'd break into Thermian mode, especially when delivering lines meant to sound solemn or fearful. Fans often rank these bizarre conversations among the funniest moments in the film, illustrating how dedicated comedic invention, even on a linguistic level, can elevate a good parody into an unforgettable experience. 5. A clever jab in naming the villain Sarris. When it comes to GalaxyQuest's big bad, the imposing reptilian warlord Sarris, there's more to his name than meets the eye. The production team derived the moniker from noted film critic Andrew Sarris, famous for his rather pointed critiques. Turning a critic's surname into a fearsome alien antagonist was an inside joke that underscored the movie's underlying satirical edge. By naming the villain after a real-world figure known for rigorous analysis, the creators playfully suggested that even the harshest criticisms can be transformed into comedic fuel. Sarris isn't just intimidating in appearance. His scaly visage and mechanical eye patch are quite memorable, but also cunning and relentless in his pursuit of ultimate power. This, of course, sets the stage for the GalaxyQuest crew to rise from their petty squabbles and prove they're not mere actors, but actual heroes when it counts. Interestingly, there's a blend of cynicism and self-awareness in this choice of name. It hints at how critics might sometimes be the villains that keep creative teams on their toes, challenging them to craft stronger, more coherent stories. By weaving that notion into a bombastic sci-fi narrative, GalaxyQuest gave fans an extra layer to chew on, especially if they caught the reference. Many viewers never picked up on the pun, but for those in the know, it's a cheeky reminder that pop culture can blur the line between reality and fiction, turning even the sting of criticism into an alien foe that must be conquered. The spark of inspiration, typecasting and writer, David Howard. Before GalaxyQuest became a cult phenomenon, it was just a spark of an idea in writer David Howard's mind, sparked by seeing Leonard Nimoy's iconic voice in an IMAX trailer. He found himself contemplating how the original Star Trek cast were forever linked to their famous roles, often overshadowed by the characters they once portrayed. Howard took this real-world dilemma and reimagined it as a comedic adventure, where a jaded cast of a fictional sci-fi show called GalaxyQuest becomes entangled in an actual alien crisis. The concept practically wrote itself as he merged the humor of three amigos, actors mistaken for the heroes they pretend to be, with the grandiosity of interstellar escapades. What's striking is that his script wasn't just a riff on Star Trek. it was also an affectionate nod to all the actors in Hollywood who sometimes feel imprisoned by their most iconic parts. The story gave these fictional has-beens a second shot at genuine heroism, and in doing so, mirrored what can happen when life imitates art. When DreamWorks purchased the script, they recognized it tapped into something relatable. The notion that we all want to break free from the roles we're told to play. Howard's willingness to poke fun at the same trope that launched Nimoy's career is exactly what gave the screenplay its whimsical charm. Even after the film evolved through various rewrites, the essence of that spark, actors living in the shadow of their own stardom, remained the beating heart of this sci-fi farce. 7. DreamWorks' bold overhaul. Behind the scenes. When DreamWorks got hold of David Howard's imaginative script, they saw a rough gem but believed it needed polish to become a mainstream hit. Early drafts featured wildly different plot twists, including an alternate version where Alan Rickman's Alexander Dane turned out to be the main antagonist, a detail most fans can hardly fathom, given his noble arc in the final film. More than just scrapping that storyline, DreamWorks reshaped everything from the movie's tone to its title, initially Captain Starshine, which felt more like a campy Flash Gordon throwback than a Star Trek homage. Producer Mark Johnson led much of this transformation, ensuring the comedic elements landed with broader appeal while still preserving the heart of the original satire. The studio also pushed for a PG rating to maximize family viewership, which led to extensive re-edits trimming any strong language. Though the creative team occasionally bristled at these demands, the changes ultimately helped GalaxyQuest strike a balance between playful spoof and heartfelt tribute. Along the way, dialogue got punched up, the pacing sped along, and certain characters were given extra layers to resonate with a wide range of audiences. The final product might not have been the gritty, R-rated comedy some on the crew initially envisioned, but it found its sweet spot as a crowd-pleasing romp that took aim at fandom culture without belittling it. In many ways, these DreamWorks-mandated adjustments were the finishing touches on what would become a surprisingly enduring sci-fi gem. 8. Harold Ramis and the directorial shuffle GalaxyQuest nearly had a different captain at the helm, Harold Ramis. Known for his comedic genius in classics like Ghostbusters, Groundhog Day, and National Lampoon's Vacation, Ramis seemed like a natural fit to steer this playful parody. Yet he had a clear vision for who should play the lead, an action star not usually associated with comedy. When that hope crumbled, various names like Alec Baldwin, Steve Martin, and Kevin Kline passed. DreamWorks placed Tim Allen in the role, a choice Ramis initially opposed. Feeling the production had veered off from his original blueprint, he decided to part ways and work on Bedazzled instead. Enter Dean Parisot, whose background in offbeat comedies like Home Fries meant he was no stranger to juggling humor and heart. Parisot brought a laid-back flair that encouraged the cast to improvise and flesh out their roles in unexpected ways. Under his direction, GalaxyQuest took on a tone that was equal parts sweet-natured and side-splitting, rather than the more overt spoof Ramis might have pursued. Interestingly, Ramis later admitted that Tim Allen performed admirably, leaving him impressed with how the final film turned out. This behind-the-scenes game of musical chairs underscores how creative differences can reshape a project in ways no one anticipates. The shift in directorial vision ultimately gave us the version of GalaxyQuest we cherish, a film that balances its parody elements with genuine warmth, courtesy of Dean Parisot's comedic sensibilities. 9. Tim Allen's leap from Bicentennial Man to GalaxyQuest. Tim Allen was caught at a crossroads in 1998. Should he play an android named Andrew in Bicentennial Man, or assume the role of the egotistical yet endearing Jason Nesmith in GalaxyQuest? With both projects beckoning, he had to pick just one. Fatefully, he chose the latter, leaving the android part to Robin Williams. At the time, it seemed risky. Bicentennial Man was a high-profile adaptation of an Isaac Asimov story, while GalaxyQuest was a quirkier proposition that might or might not hit big. Yet in hindsight, Allen's choice turned out to be ideal. His comedic roots in Home Improvement made him a relatable presence, and his comedic timing helped transform Nesmith from a mere buffoon into a leader who gradually earns his redemption. In interviews, Allen recalled the earliest script he read, courtesy of Harold Ramis, which leaned heavily into slapstick. He was initially unsure if a broad parody was right for him. But as the tone evolved into a more balanced comedic adventure, Allen discovered the perfect forum for his talent. Whether trading banter with Sigourney Weaver or hamming it up in front of adoring fans, he channeled Nesmith's swagger with sincerity beneath the bravado. By film's end, viewers were rooting for this unlikely hero to save the galaxy, and in a sense, he did just that, rescuing the movie from becoming too niche. Allen's decision to blast off with GalaxyQuest not only shaped his own career, but also cemented the film as a cherished favorite among sci-fi comedies. 10th. Toning down the language for a family audience. The GalaxyQuest that hit theaters in 1999 was famously edited to remove most adult language, securing a coveted PG rating. Initially, though, the film's humor skewed darker and definitely saltier, complete with a fair share of F-bombs. When the studio realized it could tap into a broader audience, especially families flocking to see animated features around the same time, it opted for strategic cuts. This was no small effort. Entire lines were overdubbed, and some scenes were altered so drastically that lip movements no longer matched what the characters ended up saying. A standout example is Gwen DeMarco's exasperated expletive, which got changed to "screw that" in the final version, even though viewers can plainly see Sigourney Weaver's mouth forming a different word. Reactions to this softer approach are mixed. On one hand, longtime fans and older audiences sometimes wonder if the film might have been funnier with more mature jokes left intact. On the other, the movie's comedic energy remains intact. Clever writing and whimsical performances never relied solely on crude punchlines. Many believe that by trimming the language, GalaxyQuest welcomed younger viewers into the fandom while still satisfying older fans looking for a good laugh. The result is a breezy, family-friendly romp that doesn't sacrifice too much of its cheeky bite, proving that sometimes less can be more when it comes to comedic profanity. 11th. The best Star Trek movie that isn't actually Star Trek. It's an ongoing joke among sci-fi enthusiasts. GalaxyQuest often ranks high on lists of favorite Star Trek films, despite having zero official connection to the franchise. Yet the wink and nod references to warp drives, away missions, and uniformed crews make it obvious that the film borrows heavily from Gene Roddenberry's universe. What surprises people is how warmly GalaxyQuest has been embraced by Star Trek fans, and even Star Trek's own alumni. George Takei, for instance, once noted that the comedic look at a fictional cast overshadowed by their own show was hilariously on point. At a Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, connoisseurs of the series voted GalaxyQuest the 7th best Trek movie, beating out some official entries in the saga. So, why does it resonate so strongly? Beyond the playful satire, GalaxyQuest captures the optimistic spirit that made Star Trek beloved, the idea that ordinary people can rise to extraordinary challenges. The film's message echoes that sense of camaraderie and hope. Audiences relish seeing an homage that pokes fun at fandom conventions, comedic faux pas, and actor egos, without ridiculing what made Star Trek a phenomenon in the first place. The result is a respectful tribute that merges nostalgia with refreshing humor. By existing both inside and outside the franchise it parodies, GalaxyQuest has carved its own identity, proving that even a spoof can stand tall alongside the iconic classics it imitates. 12. Brandon's role, casting near misses, and the rise of Justin Long. In GalaxyQuest, the character Brandon is the epitome of a dedicated fan, a tech-savvy teenager who knows the show's schematics inside out and ends up saving the day when fiction becomes reality. Interestingly, Justin Long's portrayal wasn't guaranteed from the start. Actors like Kieran Culkin, Tom Everett Scott, and Eddie K. Thomas also auditioned, each bringing a unique angle to the youthful superfan. Yet it was Long's nervous energy and wide-eyed enthusiasm that perfectly captured the essence of someone who'd spent his life idolizing the GalaxyQuest crew. Casting directors were reportedly struck by how naturally he portrayed both the awe and disbelief upon discovering that his childhood heroes were real heroes after all. This role became an unexpected springboard. As it was Long's first major film part, launching a career that would later include notable appearances in everything from comedies to horror flicks. Fans embraced Brandon's contagious excitement and earnestness, recognizing a little bit of themselves in his unwavering devotion to a beloved show. Brandon's storyline underlines one of the film's core themes, that sometimes the truest believers, those with unconditional passion, are the ones who can make a difference when the stakes become all too real. That's a sentiment many older viewers find touching, especially if they've ever been deeply attached to a particular fandom. With Justin Long at the helm of this wide-eyed wonder, Brandon remains a fan-favorite supporting character who proves that being a nerd can be a superpower in disguise. 13. The story continues in comic book form. Long after GalaxyQuest left theaters, fans pined for more cosmic escapades, hoping for a sequel that never quite came to pass, at least not on the big screen. In 2008, IDW Publishing stepped in with an official GalaxyQuest comic book series, followed by another run in 2015. These comics pick up after the events of the film, imagining that the cast is now headlining a rebooted show called GalaxyQuest. The journey continues. But in a twist that mirrors the movie, the lines between television fiction and interstellar fact blur yet again, propelling our reluctant heroes back into genuine space peril. Readers get to revisit Commander Taggart, Gwen DeMarco, and Dr. Lazarus in all their comedic glory, drawn in vibrant panels that capture the charm and camaraderie of the original cast. New alien worlds, new adversaries, and new comedic wrinkles abound, offering a glimpse of how the GalaxyQuest universe could expand beyond a single cinematic outing. Fans who initially missed these issues have praised the storyline for its witty references and playful nods to classic sci-fi tropes. If the film left you longing for more improbable missions and bickering among co-stars turned cosmic rescuers, these comics deliver a dose of that same spirit. They serve as both an extension and a love letter, ensuring that even without a film sequel, there's always another star system for the GalaxyQuest team to explore, and another crisis only they can resolve, all while complaining about their contracts or the demands of a finicky fanbase. 14. A hilarious mockumentary as promotion. GalaxyQuest's marketing campaign went beyond standard trailers and press junkets, venturing into meta territory with a mockumentary that pretended the show within the film was historically real. Produced by E! News in 1999, this faux documentary celebrated the 20th anniversary of the fictional series, unveiling tongue-in-cheek tidbits about behind-the-scenes squabbles, cast secrets, and even rumored celebrity cameos. In these segments, Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman stayed in character as actors, reminiscing on their glory days. As though GalaxyQuest really aired in the early 1980s, the special gave viewers a comedic window into the fictional past, the set drama, the on-air gaffes, and the one-liners that never made it to prime time. Additionally, cameo interviews from alleged fans raved about the show's cancellation scandal and the heartbreak of losing their favorite sci-fi fix. One especially clever moment was repurposing footage of Alan Rickman from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, as though it was an earlier stage role by the stuffy Alexander Dane. This mockumentary wasn't just a throwaway marketing gimmick. It underscored the film's core parody by blurring lines between fantasy and reality. Even now, viewers who discover it can't help but grin at the inventive approach. It's a testament to how GalaxyQuest winked at fandom culture in a playful, immersive way, and a reminder that the best promotions are the ones that respect an audience's intelligence and sense of humor, leaving them wanting more. 15. A cult classic that outlasted expectations. When GalaxyQuest debuted during the busy 1999 holiday season, it was overshadowed by big competition like Stuart Little and didn't receive a marketing push that matched its potential. Executive anxieties over how to package this odd blend of parody and heartfelt homage likely played a role. The trailer even contained unfinished VFX shots, which may have dampened first impressions. Despite these setbacks, the film gradually built a loyal following, exceeding box office forecasts by grossing over $90 million on a relatively modest budget. As word of mouth spread, viewers discovered a sci-fi comedy that poked fun at fandom conventions, yet still honored the spirit of starship crews boldly venturing into the unknown. Critics began praising its light-hearted but surprisingly poignant take on celebrity, fan devotion, and second chances. Over time, GalaxyQuest soared beyond cult status, finding itself on lists such as Reader's Digest's funniest movies of all time, a remarkable achievement for a project once considered a gamble. In an era when fandom can be fiercely protective, the movie won hearts by balancing satire with sincerity. The comedic stumbles of actors forced to become genuine heroes resonated with anyone who's ever doubted themselves. 2 decades later, the motto, "Never give up, never surrender," still resonates, reminding us that redemption and greatness can come from the most unlikely places. This enduring message is why so many keep returning to Galaxy Quest for an interstellar boost of laughter and hope. Decades after its release, Galaxy Quest remains a cult classic that continues to attract new fans with its timeless mix of satire and heart. Whether you've seen it 100 times or you're just discovering this interstellar comedy, there's no denying its impact on sci-fi pop culture. Which fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories from your favorite classic shows. Never give up, never surrender.